told you that buying a 34,000 euro electric SUV is actually like the most financially conservative choice a family can make right now.
I mean, it sounds totally counterintuitive.
And that buying a traditional gas car is the true risky luxury.
Yeah, it's a bold claim, but if you look at the life cycle data, that is exactly where we are today. We're looking at a stack of market positioning reports and financial analyses today.
Specifically on the new Škoda Elroq.
Right, exactly.
And our mission for this deep dive is to see how this specific vehicle kind of flips the script. We are moving past the days of early adopters buying an EV just to, make an environmental statement.
Right, it's not a novelty anymore.
Exactly. This is now about strict financial math. Like, I like to think of a car's sticker price as the tip of an iceberg.
Oh yeah, that's a good analogy.
It's what you see from a distance, but what really sinks your family budget is the total cost of ownership that's lurking beneath the surface.
But we do need to start at that surface, right? Because the initial sticker price has always been, the absolute biggest barrier to EV adoption.
Right. And the LRAC comes in at roughly 34,500 euros, which means we've hit this huge milestone.
Critical price parity.
Yes, parity with its internal combustion engine competitors. And looking at the specs is, you aren't sacrificing utility for that price either. Like, it's a full 4.5 meters long.
Yeah, to visualize that it's a spacious family hauler, it offers between 470 and I think 1,580 liters of cargo space when you utilize their storage solutions.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. But what's really telling is the design language here. They call it modern solid.
Yeah, looking at the photos in these reports, it completely avoids those overstyled, sci-fi spaceship gimmicks that a lot of EVs lean into.
It's just very
It just looks robust and functional.
That is a highly strategic choice on their part. By adopting this clean, minimalist aesthetic, they're signaling a shift. They want buyers, whether that's a family or like a corporate fleet manager, to see this EV as a durable, professional-grade asset, not just some trendy piece of consumer tech that goes out of style next year.
I hear you on the minimalist, durable design, but let's be real. None of that aesthetic stability matters to a fleet manager or, a dad on a road trip if they're stranded at a charging station for 2 hours.
Right.
Like, what good is an asset if range anxiety keeps it parked?
Well, that used to be the reality, but that's where the underlying engineering of this specific platform changes the equation. The Elroq is built on Volkswagen Group's ME architecture.
Okay, let's unpack that jargon for a second.
Sure.
What does ME architecture actually mean for the driver?
Essentially, instead of taking a traditional gas car and just, cram in heavy batteries where the engine used to be, the MEB, is a dedicated skateboard-like chassis.
Okay.
It's designed specifically for electric cars from the ground up.
Right.
And because of that flat, spacious layout in the floor, they can pack a much larger, more efficient battery into the vehicle.
Without eating up the cabin space.
Exactly.
Which explains the range. Because the 85 variant gets between 560 and 580 kilometers on a single charge.
Right. But the real game changer for your road trip scenario is the charging velocity.
Okay.
Because of how this battery is engineered, it can accept 175 kilowatts of DC fast charging. In real-world terms, you can take that massive battery from 10% all the way up to 80% in under 28 minutes.
Wait, under 28 minutes?
Yeah.
So basically you pull over, use the restroom, grab a sandwich, and the car's ready to go before you are.
It effectively eliminates charging downtime as a barrier. And we also have to look at the longevity of the battery itself. The data indicates an expected lifespan of 300,000 to 400,000 kilometers.
Wait, really? Because a huge fear with EVs is that it's like a smartphone, right? Where after 2 years, the battery won't hold a charge and the thing is virtually worthless.
Well, the life cycle analysis shows something completely different here. Battery degradation actually stabilizes significantly once it hits a 10 to 15% capacity loss.
Oh, interesting.
And that happens right around the 200,000 kilometer mark. Plus, it is backed by an 8-year or 160,000 kilometer warranty.
Wow.
So this isn't transient tech. This stable degradation firmly protects the car's resale value on the secondary market.
So if the battery actually outlasts the typical ownership cycle, which you just pointed out, it does. How does that alter the financial math for a family over, say, a decade? Let's dive into that massive underwater part of the iceberg we talked about earlier.
Yeah, this is where it becomes a mathematical imperative. Over 10 years and 150,000 kilometers compared to a traditional gas SUV, the Elroq saves you over 11,000 euros just in energy costs.
Just on energy.
Yeah. And that's assuming standard utility rates.
Yeah.
If you have home solar panels, that operational cost plummets even closer to zero.
That alone is huge. But the mechanical simplicity is what really caught my eye in these life cycle reports. There are no oil changes, no timing belts, no clutches to replace.
And we have to talk about the brakes. Because this is an EV, it utilizes regenerative braking. When you lift your foot off the accelerator, the electric motor reverses its role to act as a generator.
Okay.
So it captures the car's forward momentum to recharge the battery.
So because the motor itself is doing the heavy lifting to slow the car down, you rarely have to use the physical brake pads.
Precisely. And that specific mechanism translates to a 40 to 50% reduction in overall maintenance.
Wow.
That saves another 2,000 to 3,000 euros over a decade.
Then you add in the regional tax exemptions and insurance premium discounts, which the data shows can save you another 1,000 to 2,000 euros. So when you aggregate all of that, we were talking about 14,000 to 16,000 euros in total life cycle savings.
Yeah, those operational savings effectively pay for nearly half the car's initial sticker price. It mathematically subsidizes itself.
That is just incredible context. We wanted to make sure we described this deep dive with an engaging tone today because sharing these key insights provides such useful information for how our listeners should think about the future of mobility.
It really is a fundamental shift in how we value these assets, and it's always a privilege to explore it with our listeners.
Absolutely. And we want to sincerely thank all of you for the precious time you dedicated to us today. So we leave you with this final thought to ponder. If an EV is now mathematically superior in its total life cycle costs, at what point does buying a traditional gas-powered car become the true risky luxury purchase? Next time you see a sticker price, don't forget to look for the rest of the iceberg.